Hello everybody and welcome into Championship Night for the OP Racing ButtKicker Grand National Series live at the World Center of Racing. That's right, Daytona International Speedway will be the site where we crown ourselves a season champion here tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on PGR eSports. Well, qualifying is complete. Drivers are gritting up for what is going to be the final race in the season, and for 4 drivers, an opportunity to put yourself in the history books and be crowned a Grand National Series champion. We'll see who that man is here tonight. Before we get into your Championship 4, let's kick things off tonight with your starting grid. Kevin Freese in the 25 takes the pole, puts down a 50.689 to get himself in that starting position. The first of your Championship 4 drivers in the field here tonight will be Jeff Crosby Jr. He starts on the outside pole in second in that 33 machine. Then it's going to be Anthony English, one of your playoff finalists as well. And you know, I'm sitting here thinking about kind of describe the season for these guys. The problem is I haven't had a chance to see them all season. All I've seen is the job they've done in the playoffs. And for Anthony English, consistency has been the name of the game. So we'll see if he can be the man to be crowned a champion here tonight. Adam Kilday, the third of the 4 championship drivers. He will start in the 4th spot here tonight. And then Vicente Guerrero, the final of your Championship 4 drivers. He will start in 5th here tonight in that 14 machine. Logan York to his outside in 6th. It's going to be Zach Fritsch in the 12 machine back in 7th with Les Levy in 8th. Dave Hunt in 9th. And it's going to be Andy Brigante rounding out your top 10. Back in row number 6, it's going to be Nathan Warren alongside Dana Shepard. Bubba Winningham starts in 13th, and it's going to be Sean Dion in 14th. Derek Donna starts 15 in the 215 machine. It's going to be Kenny Reel back in 16th. Gabe Butler, the driver out of Ireland, starts in 17th. Nathan Aldrich back in 18th. Shane Ward, the Canadian, starts in 19th with Zach Workman to his outside in 20th. Eric Laurie will roll off 21st here tonight. He did not advance to the Championship 4, was eliminated in the round of 8. Michael Pratt to his outside in 22nd. Then it's Alex Giffen in the 99. He rolls back from the 23rd spot. Rick Sanchez 24th with Andrew Schroeder in 25th. John Garabak in 26th. Len McNeese in 27th. And it'll be Tucker McClendon rounding out the field tonight. He starts in 28th. Race format going to look the same as what we've seen week in and week out through the playoffs. The big difference here tonight is what is on the line. Again, it is the OP Racing ButtKicker Grand National Series. Notice tonight we are in the Xfinity cars. Distance still going to be 70 laps at 45% fuel with unlimited tires, 1 faster pair of fixed setups, and then, of course, that stage break on lap 35, which won't necessarily matter for points, but certainly can help drivers try to get themselves in the right track position to set up for those final 30 laps or so. Daytona International Speedway, just about 2.5 miles in length, over 30 degrees of banking in the corners. And track temp tonight going to be starting at 75 degrees. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be exciting. And it is going to be the race that determines who gets crowned a ButtKicker Grand National Series champion. Here we go for the final time this season. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Daytona. Just like that, first lap complete here tonight, and it goes to the 25 of Kevin Freese, the man that sat on the pole out in front right now. The big thing to keep an eye on all night, especially when this race starts to wind down to that checkered flag, is those drivers that are highlighted in purple. Jeff Crosby Jr., Anthony English, Adam Kilday, and Vicente Guerrero. Those are your 4 championship drivers that have made it this far in the season, this deep in the playoffs, to have a shot in one last race to be crowned a champion. And points don't matter here tonight. The format's real simple. Whichever one of those purple highlighted names finishes the highest on that scoring tower, that will be the driver that is crowned season at 13 champion. Kevin Freese trying to work the lanes as you see him now work back up to the top. The jump in front of Jeff Crosby Jr. Going to be a lot of patience right now, especially from these top 4. As a matter of fact, I'd stretch all the way back to your top 10. But if you're one of these championship drivers, you are not concerned at all about the stage break. You're not concerned about getting up there and trying to lead laps. It doesn't matter right now. All that matters is keeping this car clean, because you know the end's going to get crazy. And believe me when I say tonight of all nights, you are going to want to have that fast pair in your back pocket just in case things tend to get a little messy here at the end of the race. And I mean, what a car and package to have a championship event in. These cars still so edgy, even at a track as smooth as Daytona. You know, when these guys start to get 3 wide and push comes to shove, it's going to really be a matter of who can hold on to the race cars and who can't. Vicente Guerrero, you see he's got the No Presta and the Budweiser number 14 Chevy Camaro pushing Anthony English. Those two working together right now. Not sure how much we'll see of that later in the race. Adam Kilday on the outside back there in the 85 machine. And for Kilday, he's going to be looking to crown himself a champion here tonight. He's got just a little bit of work to do. He currently runs the furthest back, but that's not saying much when all 4 of them are still inside your top 5. Logan York, who we saw get a win in the playoffs, although he's not a playoff driver, he currently has himself up here in the top 10. And now, are we going to see a little bit of 3 wide further back? Sure enough, yes we are. Who's going to be the first car to jump out? Question's going to be who else tries to block. Almost 4 wide there. It looked like just briefly. That was, I think, Nathan Warren here in the 16 on the inside. But if you go 2 spots back, that's Andy Brigante and then Gabe Butler, who currently runs on the top of the racetrack. No push, and so for Gabe, he is going to fade back here until he finds a spot to drop in line. And really shouldn't be too surprised to see that 88 machine trying to get this 3rd lane working. We know Gabe Butler, he likes to get to the front. He likes to be aggressive. And the only way you can do that here at Daytona is to get up in that 3rd lane and try to do it yourself. Problem is he just doesn't have any help right now. And it looks like it's going to stay that way, as the 8 thought maybe Michael Pratt would think about jumping up in front of him, but he thinks better of it as he will fade back down. Looks like English, though. Excuse me, not English. Butler going to get a little bit more help, though, as Andy Brigante, he moved to the top lane. Looks like Eric Laurie a little bit further back. He's also made that jump to the top. Zach Workman, good to see him in the field here tonight. The 19, he's going to try to give a shot here to the back of the 88 to get him up to that 13 of Andy Brigante. And boy, now you're seeing a lot more drivers starting to get hungry, starting to get greedy here as they all move out to this 3rd lane. Still 2x2 up front, though. It's still Anthony English and Kevin Freeze. And again, when are we going to see that first pit stop? That's the big question. They cannot make it all the way to the stage break. And you figure with the fuel mileage that they have, get about 70, or excuse me, I believe for these guys it was 45%. I know we talked about that briefly in the pre-racing. Yeah, I believe it was 45%, and if that is indeed the case, and we're not off by 5% or so, that should take these cars, if you're out front, maybe somewhere close to lap 20, but a few laps before, maybe 17 to 18. That'd be my general guess. If you're out in front, maybe a lap shorter than even that. Say lap 16, for example. But if you're back in the pack, you might be able to stretch this a little bit further. Now, granted, for the first stage, that doesn't really matter. It's a solid one-stop strategy, and it's probably going to be more of the same in that final stage. But either way, look at this. Logan York, he'll now jump up to the top. He saw Les Levy up there with a little bit of momentum. He's going to try to pull that 62 to his back bumper. Watch for these two to really get rolling down the backstretch if they can get connected. But looks like Les Levy's going to bail on him. Now there's some contact there as the 43 try to give a shot. Now they're all out of whack as we got one off. That's one of your championship 4 drivers. Vicente Guerrero below the double yellow line. He's going to have to merge back up, and he's able to. But man, that may be kind of a blessing in disguise right there for Vicente Guerrero, because they are getting really, really aggressive up front. And I think now that the 14 has fallen back to where he is, he's going to say, yeah, no Presta. I don't want any more of that right now. And he'll stick towards the back and watch these guys go at it here for a couple laps. 8 of 70 laps now complete, and they are 3 by 3 for the lead. Jeff Crosby Jr., now the highest running of your championship 4. He leads the inside. Kevin Freeze in the middle, and the Toyota Supra, the blue and black Toyota Supra for Logan York, still leading that high lane. You wonder, for Andy Brigante, how did he get to this point? Well, he was one of the first drivers that really tried to kind of pioneer that 3rd lane and get it rolling, and it has paid off, as it has for Gabe Butler as well. We saw a couple others there fading a little bit more towards the back. I think this is really getting a couple drivers nervous here, seeing all this racing this early. I mean, I know I mentioned the stage break, and hey, if you're not a championship 4 driver, what do you got to lose? Go out here and you're going trophy hunting. You're not so much concerned about really anything else, but I mean, I would think if I'm Adam Kilday, Jeff Crosby Jr., a couple of these other drivers, I'm really, really nervous right now, being kind of buried on that inside line, seeing them three abreast in front of me. But Crosby and Kilday selecting to stay with the strategy of sit up here and run at the front. And it looks like for Anthony English, he felt like he got enough experience, and he has decided to bail as well. And, I know I kind of framed it earlier to the knowledge of, if you're one of these Championship 4 drivers, there's no point in running up front, save your stuff. But at the same time, that's not necessarily true, right? I mean, you want to have some practice in the race for what to expect at the end. The best way to do that is get your car up there in the mix and kind of feel out everything. And I think English and Guerrero got pretty good experience doing that. They felt like they had enough, and part of maybe their decision to fall to the back. And for Kilday and Crosby Jr., they're up here still trying to get as much experience as they can. This is a time to see if you can make certain moves work. Where can you push a guy? Where can't you? But again, you don't want to accidentally get yourself involved in a wreck, especially this early on. Kilday, though, one of the best pushers in the series, and he's showing it right now as he keeps Kevin Freese and that 25 machine out in front. As Logan York looks to see if he can drag race back even down the super stretch, he'll do just that. And now he'll get a little bit more. The 09 going to go to the point into turn 3, and for Logan York, he will now drop to the bottom. The 19 of Zach Workman gave him the push that got him there. And now for this third lane, all that's left is Andy Brigante and Gabe Butler. They're going to need some more help, and they're going to have to find it somewhere, but Freese wants a little bit more here. He's now going to try the up and under move here on Logan York. We'll see if he can make it work. Big run on that outside through the travel. He gets the better run, and sure enough, he does. Goes to the outside, gets a push from Workman. Just as quickly as it seemed like Kevin Freese had lost the lead, he gets it back, and now is back in position in front of Logan York, who again, one of the most aggressive pushers. And as a matter of fact, we saw Logan and Kevin working together a little bit in that win that Logan York got. Kevin Freese said he was kind of timing Logan up the last handful of laps or so to see how well he could push him. It looks like that chemistry going both ways, at least so far here tonight, is Logan York now doing all the work. Kevin Freese leading the way. And looks like Brigante and Butler are going to get a little bit more help now as Eric Laurie, the 071, has jumped up, as has the 8 of Michael Pratt. And for Eric Laurie, we talked about him, made the round of 8, unfortunately just couldn't quite get all the way to that final leg, if you will, in the Championship 4, but still a great season. A lot of things to be proud of here for Eric Laurie. And part of that could certainly be if he can get a win here tonight. That'd be a good way to end the season with something to be proud of. We'll have to see what happens. Good to see everybody tuning in the chat. Looks like Shane Ward, good to see you in here. Ginger Parent, along with Belva Feltz. And Cody Nagels, rooting on his Nightmare Esports teammate, Vicente Guerrero, says, let's go, Vince. And there you go. By the way, if you're out rooting for one of the Championship 4 drivers, make sure you do drop it in the chat so we know who to root for. Shane Ward, of course, says root for the 39s. Oh, caution's out here. Got some trouble a little bit further back, potentially. Yeah, we do. A couple spun around on the banking in turn 3. One of them is the 62 of Les Levy. He's got damage to the front nose and the side of his Chevy Camaro. And it looks like that may not have been all of it, showing that potentially Nathan Aldrich here. I don't know if he's got damage, but certainly that car spun around. You see the tire marks where he came to a halt. 00 looks to be still pretty clean in the front here. Big question is going to be how's the back. And yeah, he's got a little bit of damage there in the rear bumper, but that may hopefully be the extent of it. Let's go back and look at what happens here. So there you see the 00. We're going to go up a little bit, though, to Les Levy. I have a feeling maybe it starts a little bit further up. And actually, you can see Tucker McClendon. He's on the apron right here. And so you wonder if there was something even further than that. As watch. Well, Tucker had chose to jump to the apron here. He's riding below that double yellow here. He's got to jump back up. He's got the opportunity to, but he just never does. Stays on the apron, and then that's an odd one. Just kind of came back up and cleans out the 62. I know it was nothing intentional here from Tucker, but it's a very, very odd look. Let's go to the cockpit view. You know, I think one of the first conclusions here would be, or I guess I should say questions, is did he have some sort of technical issue? Let's see here. He's definitely way off the pace, and as he starts to pull back up, turns the wheel back down, and then chooses to keep it on the apron. I hate to say, like I said, their course could have been something we're not seeing here, but it almost looks to me like it's just a misjudgment by Tucker McClendon here in terms of the speed he was carrying on that flat apron. Watch it again here. He's going to go to kind of start to move back up on the track. Gets clear, starts to move back up, and then I don't know if he thought that the 768 machine that was Sean Dion, by the way, was going to come back down or what, but everybody gives him plenty of room here. like I said, he just stays on the apron, and then as they get in here to the turn, he's still running, well over 100 miles an hour on a flat apron. That's not going to execute too well for him here as the car just starts to drift up. Les Levy sees it, tries to dodge, but as McClendon hits that apron, it shoots that car up a little bit faster. Les Levy nowhere to go, gets tagged. He goes hard into the outside safer barrier. And you see the 00 further back getting turned around by John Guerra. And they both slide in to Les Levy as well. And then you saw Tucker McClendon there make some contact with the inside safer barrier. That's interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, if we had some driver insight right there, that'd be cool to know because, like I said, I'm just really not sure exactly what to make of that one. Here's the view for Les Levy. He's going to see it here. Starts jumping up. You saw the fire out of the pipes right there, too, from McClendon, further proving that he was trying everything there to check up. Just didn't work for him. And then that big secondary hit is what I think does most of the damage to a few of these cars. Watch the contact there for Les Levy. Tags the outside safer barrier driver's side, and then as he slides back around here, saw the 00 get turned out back. He slides in with nowhere to go. And then John Guerra, of course, took a pretty good shot as well in the front nose of his Toyota Supra. You see the damage there. And there you go. Tucker McClendon says in the chat, lost everyone on my screen, so that's part of it right there. It certainly was a technical issue that led to it. As we give you another view here, that contact for the 00 of Nathan Aldrich. As out back, everybody just trying to check up. John Guerra trying to maybe split the middle. Doesn't find that hole. Instead, runs into the back of the 00, sends it around. This is a big hit right here. Look at the 00 jump up off the ground. You got to hope that didn't break any suspension components there for Nathan Aldrich. But it looks like that right rear is certainly pushed in a bit. I'd be very concerned for that 00. And the potential damage that he has sustained from this one. Let's give you one more view of it here before we go back live. There's the contact, and there's the secondary wreck that ensued. Boy, lucky this one happened as far back as it did, because that could have been certainly a whole lot worse and collected a lot more of the big names, specifically the Championship 4, if it would have happened further towards the front. So as we will be going back green right here, bit of a mix-up now for your top drivers up front. Dave Hunt currently leading the way in the 53, Embry Riddle, Chevy Camaro, and on his outside, it's the 39 of Shane Ward, Kenny Reel back in third, Sean Dion in fourth. Les Levy rounding out your top 5. Adam Kilday 6th. Zach Fritsch in 7th with Kevin Freese back in 8th. Dana Shepard in 9th. You've got Gabe Butler currently rounding out your top 10. Again, lights are off here, but it's an interesting look based off the way the rest of the field is running here. I wonder... I'm not really sure what to make of it. Okay, well, there you go. They're just now working onto the backstretch. That's part of it. For some reason, got mixed up there. Thought these guys were working onto the front stretch. And so just maybe a little bit of fuel saving. Let's see. You figure... that stage break at 35 laps, if you can make it 18 laps from now, that's still not quite there. This might be close on fuel, although I still don't know if they can necessarily make it just yet. That'll be the big question. I would say they can't, especially at 45% fuel, but it might be pretty close. So we'll keep an eye on it, and certainly we won't take it out of the equation just yet. Good looking color scheme there for Dave Hunt. The Embry Riddle car, and kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever had a chance to meet Dave on campus, but I am currently a student at Embry Riddle Aeronautical University here in Daytona Beach, senior in meteorology, so it's always cool to see other people representing the colors, specifically Dave Hunt. As boy, this restart looks really, really mixed up here. This is going to get interesting. Look at all the single file cars. Watch for stack ups here as here we go back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. 16 of 70 laps complete at Daytona. Looks like it's a pretty good restart for the 53 of Dave Hunt. Outside, able to match him pretty well. The problem is there is not much help up there, at least not to be seen as of yet. The 39 of Shane Ward leads the way. Kenny Reel trying to keep him up front. We'll see how long that tandem duo can hang strong. Now the tandem breaks up just a little bit. Watch for the inside two. John Guerra and Dave Hunt. Can they get locked up? No, they can't. Instead, it'll be the outside duo. Kenny Reel trying to push the 39 of Shane Ward to the front. Well, he's already got him to the front, but trying to push him clear the lead. That part won't quite happen here. So they'll stay side by side as they work off into turn number 3. And further back, all that single file racing, this gives certain drivers an opportunity. We talk about playing it safe, but when you see everybody else single file, jump to the front, go get it. And it looks like that's exactly what Vicente Guerrero is going to try to do right here. We'll see if anybody decides to follow him. And he's got a few of the playoff drivers, the Championship 4 drivers in front of him here. Anthony English, Jeff Crosby Jr. They're both still tucked to that inside line. And then further up, Adam Kilday. He is also currently painting that double yellow line as well. Dan Parrott says Dana in the number 43, he'll get the job done. He's wanting that 43 to get to victory lane. Dana Shepard, by the way, is already up a position from where he started this race at tonight. But your biggest mover are the 3 guys up front. In fact, maybe the 4 guys up front. Shane Ward's up 18 from where he started. Kenny Reel, he's up 13 from where he started. And John Guerra, after being involved in that last incident, now finds himself up 22 positions from where he started this race at. Be coming to 18 laps complete when they cross the line this time. That means that we are still a long ways from getting to the end of stage 1 here, but we're about halfway. And so we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break tonight. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stay with us as Shane Ward leads the way at Daytona.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by 3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing, and host to tonight's championship event. Shane Ward still finds himself out in front, but all the single file action has led to quite a bit of calm racing for the moment, which is perfect timing because it gives us a chance to go through a few of the driver cams that we have here tonight. First up, Derek Donna, not one of your championship 4 drivers, but he is sitting back to that 13th spot, and he does already have himself up a few spots from where he started this race at tonight. We'll get his driver cam up here in just a moment. But we talked about up front, Shane Ward, I mean, the job he's doing. I mean, they've almost created a bit of a gap, and I think I know why this is. I think that second pack that we see 2x2, I think they're saving some fuel. That's usually really the only way that you see a pack break away like this here at a track like Daytona. Same deal for Talladega. Otherwise, there's just no real way to make it happen. In fact, since we go to the onboard view now for Derek Donna, he's in this second group. Let's go back here and see what it sounds like from the onboard view here in terms of how much they're able to save, if they are. Of course, Donna, one of the drivers who did make a playoff appearance, driver out of Jeffersonville. And he would like to wrap things up with a good finish here tonight, potentially a win. As for Derek Donna, let's actually pull up the dashboard telemetry right here. And we'll go through a few drivers with this, but notice there, you see that little blue curve? Right now, when that's all blue, that means that these drivers are full throttle. But if you notice kind of the end, the right side of that curve, if you will, when it starts to kind of back off, that's drivers that are letting off. And if we kind of try to work through the field here a little bit, See if I can... Oh, trouble. We got one going around here. 2, 3, 4. How many is this one going to collect? Looks like the 768's in it. Gabe Butler's got damage. Anthony English in the 44 is going to try to dodge it. I think he does. And it's the 43 of Dana Shepard who comes to a halt in the infield grass near that inside safer barrier down the backstretch. And so now any questions of fuel will be answered. It's not going to matter at this point. And oh man, let's go back and see what happened here. This one looked like it was pretty big. Initially, not sure how many hits the different drivers took, but watch it here first from the chopper cam. That's Gabe Butler in the 88 running behind the 43 of Shepard. And is it going to be a little bit of a checkup, or is there something different here? Yeah, bit of a stack up. That's exactly what it is. See, Kevin Freeze gets to the leader there, Adam Kilday, and he knows that he can't slam draft him, so he's got to bail out a little bit. Shepard has to do the same, and then Gabe Butler, as close as he's running there, it's just that stack-up effect. The 88 can't quite miss him in time. Tags him just a little bit offset there in the rear, and that sends that car into the outside lane. He gets into the 768 of Sean Dion, and now it's on. You see Gabe Butler's going to T-bone the 43 as he spins back down the track. And then Zach Fritsch had nowhere to go as he ran into the back of the 8 car. That was Michael Pratt. And then you see a couple guys dodging down low to the apron and going through the grass to try to miss it. As again, that wreck certainly similar to the first one. Could have been a whole lot worse based off the way it initially started. But here's that view from out back. Watch the nose of Gabe Butler here. Boom, just there's that slight contact that sends him around, and then 43 goes for a wicked slide. And for Gabe Butler here, lucky that it wasn't worse than it was for him either. I was getting ready to go look back at it here. Although I take that back. He does have some pretty heavy front end damage, but looked like that car was headed back up into traffic here for a moment. Watch him get turned, and then as there's contact there, Butler's going to get hooked back to the track, and boy, did a phenomenal job saving that. But unfortunately, you see that secondary incident there, secondary contact, I should say, with the 768 of Sean Dion. Give you a couple more looks at this here from a few different angles. Watch from TV3, there's the stack up, and watch this 43 car as he gets tagged. Look at that thing. Starts to lift. But you see those flaps go up. Car quickly sets right back down. So minimizing what could have certainly been a worse wreck right there for Dana Shepard. It's going to set him back, though. And for Gabe Butler here, we saw the gearbox cam, but let's watch the onboard view for Butler right here and see what happens. There's the contact, and then now he's kind of along for the ride. And then everybody gets scattered down to the grass, trying to figure out who the one car was. It went pretty much about as low as you could physically go. And believe, go back a little bit further here, believe that might have been, was it Nathan Warren? No, it was a little bit further up. It was actually the 215 machine of Derek Donna. And boy, he did a great job trying to minimize his damage through this one here. Let's go back and watch it from his cockpit view and see what he saw here, as he had to make a really, really kind of abrasive maneuver here, aggressive maneuver, I should say, in a detour through the grass, and he stays extra low, gets a little airtime through some of the bumps in the infield right there. But overall, he is able to hold on, and looks like able to keep the car clean as well in the process. Give you one more view of this here from TV1 before we go back live, and again, I do want to show you the contact where the wreck was arguably the worst at, which was for Dana Shepard here. Watch this 43 car gets turned. There's the first contact. Here's the second one that starts to lift that car up before it sets itself back down. So still no real big one here tonight. Usually that's a theme of discussion that we'll be talking about at some point. But again, as of right now, the big one has not occurred, at least not yet. And we are now getting closer and closer to the end of the stage. 26 is 70 laps complete. Logan York is being scored as your leader. Dave Hunt in second. Row 2 is going to be Kevin Freeze and John Guerra. Shane Ward, Kenny Reel going to be back in row 3. And then you've got Derek Donna 7th, Zach Fritsch 8th, Andy Brigante in 9th, and Bubba Winningham rounding out the top 10. By the way, Bubba's now up 3 positions from where he started this race at. And, you know, we talk about those Championship 4 drivers. We saw all 4 of them in the top 5 early on at the start of this race. Now, we don't see one of them inside the top 10. So I know we still got a long ways to go, a lot of things to happen, but just keep tabs on that. Again, the drivers highlighted in purple there on the left side scoring tower. Those are your Championship 4 drivers. And so we'll go back green here with 27 to 70 laps complete. And so that'll put us with exactly I believe 8 or 9 laps to go here to round out the stage. And yeah, sure enough, I believe it's going to be 9 laps to go to wrap things up. Although I take that back because these guys actually end the stage on the lap of. So it will indeed be 8 laps to go in the stage here. Again, no points on the line, just maybe some bragging rights and, of course, track position in the setup for the restart for that final stage, which will be a little bit shorter, probably somewhere right around 30 laps when we get the green flag back in the air for that. But now this is your chance here to potentially get a little bit more aggressive. You know you're good to go on fuel, and you know that we're getting a caution here in less than 10 laps. So we'll see who's willing to push the pace here and who keeps it conservative. Logan York, very, very aggressive driver, a lot of talent, and he knows how to use it too. So we'll see what he can do now that he's got himself the front of the field. As, oh, never mind, Logan York says end of 35. Okay, I appreciate the update. I thought for sure these guys did it on the lap of. Must have been something changed here tonight. We'll keep an eye on that. Hey, we'll say the stage break for now, 35 to 36. Ooh, stacking up out back as the green flag is back in the air. One car had to jump off. That was the 00 of, I believe, is that Nathan Aldrich? Yes, it was. But a jump off track, make the evasive maneuver there. Currently sits a lap down, but did a good job there of not sparking another incident just as we got cleaned up and restarted from the last one. Meanwhile, up front, though, dead heat off of turn 2. Looks like the outside's a little bit more organized here. Logan York, though, you see him creeping up the track, looking for just a bit of a side draft here on the 53 of Dave Hunt. He's going to try to hold him at bay down the super stretch. Can he find a way to do so? Yes, he does. Now he'll start to crawl back to even and now pull ahead as they work through 3 and into turn 4. And watch for those drivers that are all single file out back. They're going to stay lined up for now. Nobody's going to necessarily try to make a move at the moment. There's no point. What you do here is you just kind of stay as you are and see if you can't get everybody lined up to get back to that lead pack. Then once you get there, that's when you think about potentially making a move. There's Les Levy, the rear view. It's got Tucker McClendon on his outside, who had an issue earlier, but has been able to recover since and keep himself on the lead lap. Already, though, looking 3 wide on the outside. This is Andy Brigante. It looks like he's going to get a little bit of help. He's not the only driver that wants to jump out. How about the 66 of Bubba Winningham? He'll take his Chevy Camaro to the high side to try to push that 13 to the front. You saw a lot of fishtailing there down the super stretch. A couple guys that almost got into that outside line. That could have been catastrophic, but somehow they all keep it together. Derek Don on the 215. Talked about his onboard camera as he tries to now pull a little bit closer to the front. The other onboard view that we have here tonight is Andrew Schroeder. This might be the first time this season that Schroeder's carrying an onboard camera for us, as you see Les Levy have to go down to the travel apron. He's able to save it and get it back up. But for Andrew Schroeder in the 48 machine, looks like he's got the Yankees Toyota Super Colors here tonight. Is trouble. Caution is out. Check it up big time here. No trouble out front. It was whatever happened out back here. That's Bubba Winningham in the 66. So now this caution will take us even closer to the stage break. And for Bubba Winningham here, big question is what happened? Yeah, he's got some rear end damage, so gotta think the general assumption here, the initial one at least, is that he had some help in whatever happened here. Yikes. All right, well, let's go back and look at it here. Third caution of the night here in just 30 laps of racing. Average caution of every 10 laps, and Bubba riding up top. I have an idea of how this is going to happen. Watch as they work off towards turn number 1 into the corner here. Rick Sanchez has a pretty big run. In fact, they really got mixed up here. We'll go to the chopper view to get a little bit of a better angle on it. And so watch, you got Bubba Winningham and Andy Brigante. They were in this third lane. I think what they're going to try to do here is jump back into the middle. They're clear. They both have it, but there's a big stack up in front of them, actually. I didn't see that initially. But yeah, watch that big stack up in front. Does Dave Hunt get turned a little bit sideways here? I think that's what's going to happen. Kevin Freese goes to give a little bit of a shove to the 53 car. And as he does so, they just start to stack up a little bit. Freese gets hooked towards the inside. That's why you see all the fire out of the pipes and all the checkups. Brigante has to dive low. Now he sees it. He's got to check up. Bubba Winningham does the same. They drop to the middle. Rick Sanchez, he's going to try to check up as well. He gets a little shot from out back. And now the 5, just trying to save it, gets another shot from out back, that time from the 8 of Sean Dion. That's what gets him into the back of Bubba Winningham. And then for Bubba, gets into the outside safe barrier, gets tagged again. And then a third time, finally goes around on him. He goes for a slide. Wow, how did the 16 of Nathan Warren manage to miss him right there? That was close. But again, another wreck that happens in such a vulnerable spot ends up somehow really only cleaning out one car, and I would argue only doing damage to maybe a couple here. Let's go back and watch this from a couple different angles for Bubba Winningham. So watch the checkups. You'll see the fire out of the pipes. Actually didn't see it from that angle, but you saw it from the chopper view, and then, I mean, you can't really put much fault on Rick Sanchez either there. You saw he was checking up as well, but just getting run into from behind as that chain reaction only gets worse and amplifies the further back you go, and it usually gets to a point where somebody down the line doesn't quite get the memo and can cause an incident, as it appears to have here. The good news for Sanchez, I don't believe he got hit either, as you see him go to the apron here and actually drive out of that. So a nice save right there by Rick Sanchez. So that's a good-looking scheme for him. Certainly not the way that he wanted to be getting the TV time, though. And for Bubba Winningham here, I'm not sure if he's going to have to use his fast repair. The damage doesn't seem too bad, but it is still certainly notable enough that he'll have to go in and at least get some optional fixes, if nothing else. We're going to have to go hop on board next with the 16 of Nathan Warren and the job he did here to miss this wreck. I mean, this should have been, he was T-boning Bubba Winningham at pretty much full speed. That second group had been catching, and then he sees it. He's going to try to pick which lane. Sees the 66 go low, and then, oh my goodness. Well, it does not get much closer than that. At the last second there, he had to make that evasive maneuver, but did a good job of doing so to miss this one. So we'll give you one more look at this here. And Jeff Crosby Jr., I mean, there were some championship contenders in this second pack that arrived on scene of this wreck. You saw Crosby immediately jump it to the top of the racetrack here. Wants no part of it, but then there's that close call in the lockup there for the 16 of Nathan Warren as he somehow does a Houdini act to miss this one. And give you one more look at this here from the spectator cam and show you what the fans saw. So there's Bubba getting turned, and then close call for the 16 of Nathan Warren, but it's made a good near miss. Even further back there, looked like Dana Shepard had to do a pretty stout job, if you will, of getting on the brakes to make sure he didn't run into the car in front of him. And just like that, back up front we go, back live, and the lights are off on the pace car. And it's going to be 33 of 70 laps complete. When they get the restart here, that'll put us with 2 to 3 to go in the stage. Again, I really thought that it was at the end, or rather on the lap that the stage break said, but Logan York, who's in the race, is telling us it's actually at the end of 35, so we'll be keeping an eye right around kind of both of those two last laps, if you will. I know you can't have two last laps, but we'll have to see which one ends up actually being the last lap. Again, not much at stake here, so I think if you're not realistically inside the top 5 right here, there's got to be pretty much no thought of trying to go to battle. I don't think it really helps you out in any way. But we'll have to see what they decide to do. So it's only going to be, again, 2 to 3 lap shootout. If we have another caution before we get to that stage break, then of course that will be your stage break. And winner, I believe, will be determined by whoever was leading at the time of caution, or potentially who's leading as they actually cross the line at the end of the stage. We'll have to find out. But man, certainly an interesting night so far. Added characteristic in terms of the way the wrecks have been. Usually when we see them wreck here at Daytona, they wreck them up big time, but that's not been the case, at least not yet. It's kind of been minor wrecks here and there of just different racing incidents. Certainly haven't seen anybody really doing anything egregious or wrong that has been kind of causing these wrecks. As you see, Vicente Guerrero, currently the highest running of your Championship 4. He sits in 11th. Jeff Crosby Jr., the lowest running of your Championship 4. He sits back just outside the top 20. And then Kildane English, 15th and 16th. We'll see if any of them try to go to the front right here, or if they just stay back, wait till we get to this caution here, refuel, grab some tires, get ready to go for that final stage as we get closer to that pay window opening. But here we go. How about a little pre-shootout here for the stage before we get further on and into the late portions of the race? Green. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. 33 laps complete. Dave Hunt, he's going to get a little bit of a better jump here, but is it enough of a jump to get clear of John Guerra? Doesn't look like it is, but now he gets a little bit of a shot from Kevin Freeze. That'll be what he needs. The 53 gets clear into turn 1, but does he take it? No, he doesn't. Dave Hunt's going to stick to the top of the racetrack for now. And the 59 of John Guerra getting lined up with the 39 right here off of turn 2. Guerra's going to get a big shot from the 39 of Shane Ward. Can the 071 of Eric Laurie get up to help these two? Or will it be the outside tandem? Can Logan York add on and extend to the momentum? Further back, there goes Gabe Butler to the top. We know he likes to look 3 wide. Zach Fritsch ducking the nose of his Ford Mustang out just a little bit as well. So far, so good. Everybody keeping it clean, and now it'll be 34, 70 laps complete. A little bit of dodging and weaving in the middle portions of this lead pack. We saw the 39 as well. Shane Ward right there. He got a little bit out of shape. But now further back, there goes that 88 of Gabe Butler. 3 wide, looking on the high side. Is he going to get any more help? Yes, he will. Looks like the 215 of Derek Donna thought about going with him, but instead he'll just let him slot back in line right here. Working onto the super stretch. Still 2x2. One car is going to look outside. That'll be Kevin Freeze. Splits Dave Hunt, and now the inside's going to roll as well. John Guerra is going to go to the point in turn 3. But Kevin Freeze still hanging strong side by side with the 59. Third lane is still formed up. But all it is Logan York and Gabe Butler. Do they have enough of a push to get back to the front row? Doesn't look like it. 3 wide coming back to the stage checker left to see if this is indeed for that stage. Dave Hunt with the big push. And no caution just yet. Oh, John Guerra's going to get turned off the racetrack. He's able to save it, and as they stay green, that will indicate that the stage will actually end on this next lap. Logan York still on that third lane. He was able to grab a side draft on the 53. Now they're going to line up really strong up top. Can the bottom hold him off? Kevin Freeze jumps low. Now he gets a push from Zach Fritsch. Logan York will move back down to the middle. Now he's waiting for help from Dave Hunt. Off into turn 3 for the final time of the stage. Here comes the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. One of your championship 4 drivers looking for a little bit more here before we get the scheduled caution. Off of turn 4, side by side, almost a little bit of contact, but now they spread out. Logan York will get the better push, and he will be the first one back to the line. And the 09 picking up right where he left off. After getting that win last time we saw him, he grabs the stage win here tonight at Daytona in thrilling fashion. Boy, how about that one? For a little pre-race amp-up of what we're going to see later on. My goodness, Logan York, say it with your chest. Got that third lane work in, got to the middle, dropped low, and never looked back from there. So the 09, along with everybody else, going to now come into the pits for 4 tires and some fuel. And then get set up and get ready for what is going to be a 30-lap sprint to the finish and to decide a champion. Again, right now, winning that championship battle, just based off being in the highest running position, is Vicente Guerrero, who sits in 5th. I believe that's where he did indeed finish that stage at as well. So as the drivers do catch the pace car here and we get ready for that round of pit stops, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Stick with us for the final stage here at Daytona.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by 3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway with the championship race for the ButtKicker Grand National Series for OP Racing. The one and only stage of the race is complete. Your stage winner is the 09 of Logan York. We're lining back up to get ready for the final stage here. And as they do so, Vicente Guerrero now being scored as your leader. Alex Giffen second. Rick Sanchez third with Nathan Warren in fourth. And Adam Kilday rounding out your top five. Well, let's see if we can get a quick word here with your stage winner, Logan York, and see how he's feeling right now after that. Hey, Logan, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin. What's up, man?
Not much. Well, hey, you're looking good so far. You get the stage win there. And, man, you look very, very aggressive at the end of the stage. It paid off. What was the mindset there?
Yeah, I just wanted to win. I never signed to win, so I wanted it. That's really it.
Well, it certainly worked out for the stage, but now it's a little bit of a different ballgame because we know the Championship 4 are getting ready to ramp up the aggression a whole lot more, especially as we close in on the end of this race. So what does your approach become now? Do you go out there? Is there somebody you're trying to help? Are you still trying to get the win for yourself? How do you go about it?
I'm just trying to win. I don't really know any of these guys very well, except for like Kevin and Kenny. I'm just trying to win, try to finish as high as I can.
Sounds like a pretty good...
Yeah, I'm probably gonna, I guess if I end up behind a playoff guy at the end and I have no chance, I'll push him. But yeah, there's no one in particular I'm working with in the playoffs.
I was going to say, I mean, if you don't have anyone to work with, that's the next best game plan, right? Go out there and win. Well, I know you guys are getting ready to go back green, so we'll let you go. But, Logan, we appreciate you talking to us. Congrats on the stage win, and we'll see if we're talking to you again at the end of the race.
Thank you, Austin.
All right, there you go, Logan York. You always love hearing the interviews from Logan because he's always about pretty much as blunt as he can be with it. And if you ever ask him if he plans to give up a win, he's not going to. He's never going to say yes. I mean, the goal is to go out there and win for everybody. But for Logan York, I don't think he really cares if it's a championship driver he's racing or just somebody else who's also trying to get a win. He's going to race him the same. He's going to race him aggressive, and he's going to try everything he can to steal that win away. By the way, in just a few moments, I do have to attend to just a brief, very brief, quick family matter, so we will be going back to one more commercial break a little bit sooner. We'll try to keep the action here even longer after that to make up for it, so a little bit of a pre-apology for that now, but nonetheless, here we go. Lights are off on the pace car as it will make that left turn down to the pits, and as it does so, field goes back in the hands of one of your Championship 4 drivers, Vicente Guerrero, and then Alex Giffen on the outside. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. The final stage and the final race is underway at Daytona. And it's a good restart for both rows, but it looks like the inside lane's going to get rolling just a little bit better now. And what do you do right here? I mean, you think about all the drivers that want to get to the front, but Kevin Freeze, he wants to go, and he wants to go now. Already looking to the high side of the racetrack, but he's quickly going to jump back in line as he realized he didn't have any help. And they'll stay 2 by 2 for now. On the inside, Vicente Guerrero still leads him down the super stretch. A little bit further back, though. But Anthony English, now your second highest running playoff driver, but Adam Kilday on the outside. Where did the 85 machine come from? He's now got himself up to the second position as well. And, oh, man, you can already see a lot of fishtailing. Again, these guys had a chance to take 4 fresh tires and fuel, so handling shouldn't be too much of a factor, at least not when you're kind of just running by yourself. It's when they really start to push each other is when it starts to become a bit of an issue. Reminds you of what track temp was starting this race out at, and it's been about the same since, 74 degrees. So, again, handling is not a concern here tonight. But here we go. Let's actually bring this back up, and further back, we see a couple of guys hanging back still trying to take it easy. And most notably out of the championship drivers, Jeff Crosby Jr. in the 33. He's sitting back right now. He's got the 88 of Gabe Butler and the 071 of Eric Laurie behind him. And, you know, I know that Logan York said he doesn't have anybody in particular that he wants to work with. And this is a series, while it doesn't necessarily have any stated by name teammates, there are still certain drivers that work with each other. And you wonder if those drivers are trying to get themselves lined up. But, oh, look at that. Looking for a third lane. Kilday's going to try to throw a block. Does Kenny Reel split him? No. Instead, he'll go with him. The 85 wants the lead. Kenny Reel says, okay, I'll go with you right here. Will Kevin Freeze choose to roll this third lane as well? Yes, he does. Len McNeese now, he'll have the opportunity to try to make a move. And they are still 3 by 3 down the super stretch with 42 of 70 laps complete. All right. Got to go attend to a quick matter real quick. Again, this should be our last break for quite a while. I do apologize. We'll try to make this break a little bit shorter if possible. Stick with us. We'll be right back as Vicente Guerrero leads at Daytona.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by 3.
Almost all trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Oh, there they go! Huge wreck out back. One in the wall, and it'll collect the rest of the field. Dave Hunt's in it. Multiple of your Championship 4 drivers are involved. The big one finally strikes with 25 laps to go. And boy, it collected quite a few. Let's go back and look at it here and see where everything went wrong. It was just as we were coming back from break. And it looks like the 43 of Dana Shepard, that's where it starts, and something happened that hooked that car to the right. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what it was here. All right, so watch it from TV3. There's Shepard on the inside. That's Alex Giffen in the middle. And, ooh, slight contact in the right rear, maybe even a little bit of net code. That's what turns that 43 up into the outside safer barrier. And then you see them all piling in after that. And man, oh man. That's just a couple different times. And I know I initially said it collected a lot of your playoff drivers, but it actually may not have, because it happens behind the 85 of Kilday. And I was looking for the 14 of Vicente Guerrero and where he was running at. He was in front of Kilday, so those two get through it clean. English was on the inside. He doesn't have to worry about it either. And then the only driver that was behind it was Jeff Crosby Jr., and I believe he actually missed it as well. Yeah, it's just slight contact there that kind of initiates it. And again, I did say contact, but you wonder, was there maybe just a little bit of netcode involved in this? Let's see. So you watch it here. They're 3 wide. Watch the 99 machine sitting in the middle right there of Alex Giffen. And then watch the 43 of Dana Shepard on the bottom. Boy, it was really, really close. Like I said, I mean, it's so hard to judge. And, really, they're both just racing hard here. And as a matter of fact, the 43 maybe drifting off the yellow a bit. You could argue the same time that maybe the 99 is just creeping down a little bit. The point is, it's hard racing. I do think that maybe Dana Shepard drifts a little bit more off of the line here than the 99 does. But again, they're both running each other kind of tight. And I think there is just a little bit of right rear netcode. You can argue that maybe they would have wrecked anyway, but at the same time, maybe they don't. Maybe just before that netcode contact occurs, Dana Shepard realizes that he's drifting up, starts to turn back down, but never gets the chance to. And then once he gets turned, this is massive. Look at this hit right here for the 43. Gabe Butler, he piles in, T-bones him. He had nowhere to go. Logan York on the bottom. There's the 48 of Andrew Schroeder. Eric Laurie gets ran into from behind. The 53 of Dave Hunt. Rick Sanchez, you see the 215. He's also involved as well. That's Derek Donna. And then the 00 sliding in at the end there along with Tucker McClendon. And I mean, boy, like I said, when I initially saw the wreck, I saw a few of the paint schemes that looked very similar. I thought for sure we had at least 2 of your championship contenders, but we didn't. And so, I mean, how about the luck there for your championship 4 to have a wreck that takes out that many drivers and somehow doesn't clean out any of the drivers that are really fighting for something here tonight? As we'll get a couple more angles of this here before we go back live. There's the blimp view. I mean, it realistically probably collects about 10 to 15 different cars. I mean, maybe since some of the wrecks that we had tonight that should have been bigger were smaller, it made up for the reason this one was as big of a wreck as it is. As we had somebody's hood bouncing around in the infield there. Give you one more look at this here from the radioactive cams. There's that big hit again for the 43 of Shepard. It's been a bit of a rough night for Shepard. It's been involved in a few incidents. First one not of his causing, and arguably this one not necessarily of his causing either. Just hard racing and fortunate break for a couple of the drivers who have been fighting tonight to try to end the season on a good note. As we are now at the point of 22 laps to go, as we're getting ready to see the green flag yet again, and up front, Vicente Guerrero leads the way. Kenny Reel to his outside in second. Then you've got Anthony English back in third with Nathan Warren in fourth. Kevin Fries in fifth with Adam Kilday in sixth. Zach Fritz seventh with Derek Donna in eighth. Michael Pratt in ninth, and Jeff Crosby Jr. rounding out your top 10. Bubba Whittingham finishes back in 11th. Les Levy in 12th. Gabe Butler 13th with Andy Brigante in 14th. Then you've got Zach Workman in 15th. John Guerra 16th. Andrew Schroeder in 17th. Nathan Aldrich in 18th, Rick Sanchez 19th, and Dana Shepard rounding out your top 20. So it'll be 21 laps to go, and now we're starting to enter that phase of crunch time where the aggression level is going to really start to pick up here for these Championship 4 drivers. If you're Vicente Guerrero, I mean, this is pretty much all you could ask for right now, is to be in position to try to control this field. English in a pretty good spot as well, but for Jeff Crosby Jr., who sits back at 10th, he's probably going to start to try to climb his way a little bit further towards the front. And then for your 4th place running championship driver, Kilday's in 5th. He might try to crawl his way a little bit further to the front. And then I was going to say for your 4th place running driver of Jeff Crosby, who sits back at 10th, he's got a little bit of work to do still ahead of him. All right, here we go. 21 laps to go at the World Center of Racing to crown a champion. Green flag is back in the air. It's a good restart for the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. On his outside is the 11 of Kenny Reel. Anthony English with a big push, trying to see if he can maybe push Vicente Guerrero clear off into turn 1. And if you're the 44 English and you're trapped on the bottom, there's only 2 ways you're getting clear. If Vicente Guerrero jumps up, or if you push him clear yourself and make that move yourself. Boy, he almost got it there. Got all but clear the front bumper of Kenny Reel, but not quite enough, as now the outside starts to fight back. Adam Kilday in the 85. You see him third on the outside. He is in a better position, I would think. Well, I was going to say a better position than English, but not anymore because Anthony will get clear, and now he'll have the opportunity to potentially jump up here. And sure enough, there goes the 44. English not going to waste the opportunity as he moves to the high side of the racetrack now. 20 laps to go. They still have to make a pit stop, by the way. I do want to make sure that we note that. When you make that pit stop is really a big question as well. I mean, knowing that there's no set teammates, I think we could still see some groups, but I don't think we'll necessarily see anybody try any sort of crazy strategy here. You figure 20 laps to go, that window opens to be safe and maybe make it overtime, probably about 4 or 5 laps from now. That's the earliest we could see drivers pit, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see him maybe try to run this thing out, which would be, you know, closer to a handful, maybe even slightly under a handful of laps to go. Still single file up front for the first 3 to 4 rows. Then it's back to 2x2. And now we're going to see another move. This time it's going to be the 12 of Zach Fritsch. He'll jump to the outside in front of Anthony English. English going to try to push that number 12 Ford Mustang to the front here to see if he can get him to drop down in front of Vicente Guerrero. That is one of the beauties that we see in super speedway racing, is that, you know, the guys that are the best of the best at it, they know there's more than one way to win events like this, these championships. English knows that if he's not necessarily in front of Vicente Guerrero, well, he can push a guy who's not in the championship ahead to kind of block, or I should say kind of cut off that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Right now, that man is Zach Fritsch. Again, Fritsch got a win in the playoffs to advance himself automatically onto the round of 8, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to hang on and advance to the round of 4. One of the drivers who a lot of people probably had on their radar to make it to the final 4, but unfortunately things just didn't quite work out for him this season. As I know we have him there. I know it said the round of 4, but that was a bit of a misprint right there. Should have said round of 8 from when we updated it earlier. Vicente Guerrero, though, this guy is one of your round of 4 drivers. Vicente has been doing a great job so far here tonight. And as it stands, he currently leads the way as we are closing in now. What's going to be 17 laps to go when they cross the line next time. Still 2x2 down the super stretch. Big push on the outside for Zach Fritsch. Almost enough to get him clear, but yet still not quite enough. Kevin Freese second on the inside to 16 of Nathan Warren. He's been hanging strong here, especially in the second half of the race. It'll now be officially 17 laps to go. How long before we see that third lane get working? Well, we're going to get our answer right now. Here goes Gabe Butler looking to the top, and he'll get some help from the 19 machine. That is Zach Workman. And for Zach Workman, as it stands right now, in that 19 machine, he's not fighting for anything here tonight besides a trophy. And we've already seen him and Gabe Butler be a little bit aggressive a few times here tonight. And it's worked out well for the both of them. Now they're going to get another taker here. This time it's going to be the 11 of Kenny Reel who jumps high. Zach Fritsch still in the middle, and you wonder if Anthony English, is he maybe starting to run out of temps right here? Boy, if he is, that would be a bad time for it to happen, as you have got 2 of your championship 4 drivers stacked up in the middle. Vicente Guerrero continues to lead the bottom, and then further back, still taking it easy for now, and not pushing the pace, at least not yet, is Jeff Crosby Jr. Currently finds himself running on the inside lane towards the back of this chaos. And man, I almost think if you're Jeff here, maybe you think about backing out of this right now. I mean, he is in a very vulnerable spot if they wreck, and really there's just nothing to gain right now. Pretty much every lane is clogged up by at least 3 to 4 cars deep. And so we'll see what Crosby decides to do here. I'm telling you, they cannot keep doing this up front. This is getting really, really sketchy here. I've seen some of the pushes, especially in this middle line, get closer and closer to ending in a potential wreck, but they're going to try to keep it together here as they work through 3 and 4. Zach Fritsch still leading the middle. The 14 of Vicente Guerrero on the bottom, and it's the 11 of Kenny Reel up top. Oh, we got one. Did he get turned off the track, or was it a scheduled stop here? That's Nathan Warren. And for Warren, I'm thinking maybe it was scheduled, but boy, that could have certainly been close. But the way he exited the racing line with a whole pack behind him still at full pace. Does a nice job, though, and he'll get into his box clean. Probably going to need a caution, though, now, at least if he wants a chance to get grouped back up with these leaders. Still 3x3 as they work down the super stretch now. And some of the drivers that have now made their way further towards the front. Gabe Butler, he's up 11 spots from where he started this race at. Zach Workman's up 12. Now make it 13. And then Kenny Reel, who now goes to the point on the high side, he is now up 14 positions from where he started this race at. Going to be coming to 14 laps to go this time. And again, that pit window is open, It's just a matter of when do you want to make that pit stop. Coming up on a lapper here. This is going to get dicey. They're going to have to go 4 wide or check up. Looks like they're going to check up briefly. Now they try to go 4 wide. Kenny Real, though, instead is going to have to fade. We got 2 of them wrecking out back. Now 3-4. It's going to collect a few more. Les Levy, Rick Sanchez. The 0-0 of Nathan Aldrich. And a couple more up front. John Guerra may have got some damage. And you wonder if that wreck was a byproduct of the field trying to work around that lap car right there. Now this is going to send us into a restart with less than 10 laps to go, and more importantly, it's going to put everybody in that fuel window good to go, so that may have not necessarily been the best break for some of the drivers in the championship for, and maybe for a guy like Jeff Crosby Jr. it is, because now it gives him a chance to get back to the front, but we're not going to see a green flag stop as of now in this race with this late caution. All right, let's go back and look at it here. See exactly what sparks it. Again, I think it may have been something with this lap car. Oh, no, it actually starts a little bit further up than just that. It looked like it actually started there with Tucker McClendon. So we'll back it up again here and look at it from a bit of a different angle. Watch the 823 car here as McClendon's in the middle. And he's going to shoot the middle here on Bubba Winningham right as they're catching the 768 of Sean Dion. And then it's a really, really awkward one there because that wasn't really the reason that the wreck happened. I mean, you see Tucker here. Does he just get back up into the 66 or does Bubba come down here? Yeah, it looks like Winningham comes down, and I wonder if maybe Bubba didn't realize they were 3 wide or if he was trying to jump in behind the 823. Whatever the case is, I'm not sure, but he felt like obviously he needed to get down here. He saw that big check up in front, and as he starts to move down, Tucker McClendon's still there. Tags him in the right rear, and then that's going to send the 823 into the outside safer barrier. Huge hit for those two. And boy, Andy Bercante, how cool was that? The way he snuck through that, almost like a moving door where you kind of get trapped inside of it, and then you just got to kind of pause and wait patiently until it clears. Sneaks through the first, and then once he sees Tucker McClendon go low, he's going to sneak through the second as well. Back that up again. Watch this from the TV3 view here. We saw that first big hit, and I can't wait to go on the onboard for Andy Brigante, but before we do that, Jeff Crosby Jr., boy, he is lucky that he chose to go low. You saw everybody else behind him choose to go high, and as a result, the 33 car was the only driver right there to not get involved in this incident. So the championship 4 drivers, again, all find a way to get out unscathed. Of course, this one only had the potential to collect one of them, but even for Jeff Crosby Jr., again, really nice job missing that. Heavy damage for the 0-0 there of Nathan Aldrich. It's been a rough night for him as well. Les Levy, Rick Sanchez, they get involved. Let's hop on the onboard view here for Andy Brigante. As we talked about this, this may be the wreck avoidance of the night right here. Watch this from start to finish. Boy, I don't know how he finds a way to get through that on the outside. That's one of those ones where you kind of just hold your breath and hope to seize pardon. In that case, they did. As now we go back live. 12 laps to go currently, as lights are not off on the pace car just yet. Up front leading the way, it's Zach Workman. Nathan Warren in second with Vicente Guerrero third. Zach Fritsch in fourth. And Anthony English rounding out your top 5. When they line back up, you get the one to go here and then get the restart. It's looking like it'll probably be about 10 laps to go exactly. So as we wait for them to do so, we'll take another quick break. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Daytona.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
flag is in the air. We are racing.
3 by 3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. All right, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for all night. 10 laps to go to crown a champion here tonight. And the ButtKicker OP Grand National Series. Green flag is back in the air for Zach Workman and Nathan Warren. As they cross the line with 10 to go, they know what they're getting ready to expect out back, and that is a lot of pushing and shoving. Vicente Guerrero is going to get the better jump, though, of the two drivers in the second row. 14 quickly onto the back bumper of the 19 now further back. Ooh, man, Kevin Freeze, a little bit of a wiggle, and he's going to take advantage of that by jumping to the third lane. Adam Kilday will follow. They're able to side draft. Zach Fritsch is down. He fades back. And now the big question is, where does everybody go? Do they try to follow this third lane? Do they go with the middle, or do they try to create maybe a fourth lane, dare I say? Still three wide, Kevin Freeze. Somehow, Adam Kilday was able to push him to the front, even though it was only two cars. Vicente Guerrero finds himself back in a good position here now, leading that middle line. He does not want the 44 of Anthony English to have a shot to jump up, though. 9 laps to go. We are officially in single digits for laps remaining here tonight. Anthony English now looking like he might be pinned on the bottom. Next driver that could potentially be in position here to make something happen is going to be that 85 of Adam Kilday, and now the 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr. Boy, where did he come from? We saw him miss that last wreck. Thought he was going to be starting further towards the back, but already he finds himself third in line on that third lane. And man, a lot of pushing on that inside. Anthony English is really knocking this 19 car sideways, trying everything he can to get the 19 clear enough so that either he jumps up or that the 44 can get a chance to jump up himself. He's going to have a big opportunity right here. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Anthony English gets clear. Oh, now some contact. Logan York with a wicked save on the inside. And as he holds on, that is all Anthony English needed. He got clear. Vicente Guerrero moves up. And now with just 8 laps to go. How about this? 2 of your championship 4 drivers lined up in the middle. You got 2 more up top, but Kevin Freeze, he'll get clear, jumps to the middle, but I would not be surprised if this 25 chooses to jump all the way to the bottom here. Doesn't do it yet. Now that's going to stack up the middle just a little bit. Vicente Guerrero is going to fall back to the back bumper of Nathan Warren. And again, I know I hate to say it, but at this rate, I just don't see any way that these guys keep it clean all the way to the finish. There is way too much pushing and shoving going on. I mean, this is arguably the most that we have seen all season from these drivers. And you kind of expect it. Now's the time to go, right? I mean, we're coming to 7 laps to go. If you're one of these championship 4 and you're planning to stay at the back, then you better be hoping the whole field wrecks, because if not, you're not going to have a chance to get to the front at this point. Still 3 wide gridlock formation. Adam Kilday, Jeff Crosby Jr. They are now the 2 championship 4 drivers that are in a favorable position as they lead that high side. The 19 of Zach Workman looking for his first win of the playoff races here tonight. See if he can make it happen. There they go. They're going to wreck out back. Anthony English, one of the drivers that gets turned. Dana Shepard's involved. So is Vicente Guerrero. And this one's finally going to catch up with a few of your championship 4 drivers. For the 44 English, how bad's the damage? That's the big question. Looks like a lot of it there is on that left front. And boy, you got to wonder, is the suspension out of line? You certainly hope not, but I think it is. Look at the steering wheel on the left side of the screen. In fact, we'll bring it over for you here a little bit more. Look at the steering wheel for Anthony English. Yeah, that answers that question. He has got major front suspension damage, and that is a tough break. That means the 44 is going to have to pit here to use this fast repair. The other championship 4 driver we saw involved, Vicente Guerrero, how much damage did he sustain? Doesn't look like he got much, if any, at least not in the front of the car. I wonder about the back. Ooh, yikes. Yeah, that back end is no Presta there. So he's got a lot of damage. Must have gotten ran into from behind. You see Dana Shepard, the damage that he sustained as well. And this caution coming out with just 6 laps to go is going to send us close to, if not potentially in, to our first overtime attempt here tonight. We'll have to see more on that in just a moment, but let's go back and look at this. You knew it was just a matter of time, and again, it sparks with the 43. We talked about Dana Shepard. Boy, it's been a rough night for the 43. He's been involved. I believe this is his 3rd incident now that he's been collected in. Let's see where it all goes wrong out here. Oh, yikes. Boy, that's a massive right rear net code between Vicente Guerrero and Dana Shepard. Watch this here from the chopper view. Watch the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. He's in the middle behind Anthony English. Then watch the 43 of Dana Shepard on the bottom. They don't really come all that close to hitting here. Off the corner, Vicente just trying to follow the 44 English, goes down a little bit, maybe gets a little bit loose as the car unloads. But yeah, you can see there was still arguably at least a foot or two between those cars when the contact occurred. That's pretty brutal too. Right there, you can see they're not hitting each other, but the game thinks they are. And that sends the 43 of Dana Shepard around into the 44 English, who had nowhere to go. You see Vicente Guerrero get ran into from behind by Nathan Warren. Zach Fritsch, he's going to get into the outside wall here with Dave Hunt. And it's on from there. The 12 goes for a slide. 53 goes for a spin. But again, all in all, I think I would have to argue, at least for, well, I take that back because this one collected a few of your championship drivers, so it may not have been as big as that big wreck we saw earlier, but certainly a bit more impactful, if you will. And for the 43 of Dana Shepard, not sure how bad his damage was. You see Zach Fritsch. He got pretty heavy contact in the rear end of his car as well. So I think Vicente Guerrero might be okay here. He may not even have to use his fast repair. Anthony English, we talked about, he certainly will. The damage that he sustained. Here's a couple more views of it. First one from the zoomed in shot for Zach Fritsch. Trying to shoot through, but there's really nowhere to go. And then there's that big hit on the outside safer barrier. Yeah, he got front end to the front. Excuse me, I guess I should say he got front end damage on his Ford Mustang along with the rear end damage. And then give you one more look at this here before we go back live and start to set ourselves up for the finish. Actually, we'll take one more view after this with the onboard view for Vicente Guerrero, as this is going to give you a pretty good look at kind of how the wreck initially sparked and then ultimately the rest of the ride for Vicente Guerrero in the process. And again, we talked about there being some netcode. Watch it. We'll play it slow for you here. Actually, we'll play it full speed instead. I take that back. Right here. Doesn't actually touch him. Man, you hate to see that, especially at such a crucial time in the race, but at the end of the day, it is still a sim. You got to worry about things happening like that, and it's not impossible to come back. I've seen it before. A different league by a guy named Cody Nagels, teammate to this 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Managed to mount to come back in the late stages of a race to win a championship. And him and Vicente Guerrero, two of the best in the business. They work together a lot, so if I've seen Cody do it, I'm sure I can see Vicente do the same. But him and Anthony English both going to have a lot of work cut out here and not a lot of time to try to make it happen. Up front, though, see if the lights on the pace car go off right here. And looks like, sure enough, they do. So we're going to get the 1 to go signal with 4 to go. That means we'll be going back green with 3 laps to go. So it'll be a green-white checkered +1. No, not quite a green-white checkered. I should say a natural green-white checkered +1. And so we got to make it all the way to the white flag before this race is official. That means we got to make at least 2 laps under green here. And so you've got Zach Workman leading the way, Kevin Freese second, Adam Kilday in third, Logan York fourth, and Shane Ward rounding out your top 5. Kilday right now the highest of your championship 4 running drivers, and he is in a great position on the outside. Remember, if you're one of these championship 4, again, the drivers highlighted in purple, you don't have to win the race. You just have to finish above the other 4. And so as it stands for Kilday right now, I would say he's arguably in the best position. He's on the outside, so if he needs to make a move, he can. But at the same time, he's still ahead of the 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr., so he might be able to just push the 25 of Kevin Freese right here, depending on the way things pan out. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, we talked about for Anthony English and Vicente Guerrero, they might have to actually do some working together here to get back to the front before they try to battle amongst themselves. I would be watching for that 44 car to be trying to get to that 3rd lane almost immediately here after we get the green flag. I mean, you got 3 laps, so you figure you can, in this case, take, a lap or so to try to get the momentum up before you make that move. The problem is, if you get stopped pretty much at all on your way to the front, you don't really have any time to recover or any time to try to change it around. And so we'll see what they decide to do. But again, if we have to head into an overtime, that slims that window of opportunity down even more for Anthony English and Vicente Guerrero and their chances of trying to get back to the front. All right, here we go. We said we've been waiting for it all night with 10 laps to go, but it's the pay window's open. This is it. To be crowned a champion, what are you willing to do? Adam Kilday, Jeff Crosby Jr., it's in sight. Who's going to get there first? Green flag is back in the air. 3 laps to go at Daytona. And it's a good restart for the 25 of Kevin Freese. Not a good enough of a one, though, to jump down in front of the 19 of Workman. And so they'll draw back even now. By the way, don't count out Logan York to try to potentially make a move on this 19 and steal one for himself. And oh boy, we saw Workman move up. That seemed like a little bit of an early move there. And now all of a sudden, that's going to put Jeff Crosby Jr. back in the catbird seat as he moves back in front of the 85 in track position. Further back, looking for guys looking third lane. Anthony English still stuck in the middle. Vicente Guerrero up top in the third, trying to make something happen. Now they're going to shuffle back down to 2x2 further back as they work into turn 3. Meanwhile, up front, Logan York leads the inside. Zach Workman on the outside. Jeff Crosby Jr., Kevin Freese, row 2. Adam Kilday, Kenny Real, row 3. Are they going to wreck or are they going to save it? No, they're going to wreck. Looks like Workman couldn't hold on. Gets it to Kevin Freese. No caution yet here. This will be an iRacing caution only. And oh man, this has messed up the field. All sorts of chaos now. We've almost got another wreck here further back. Everybody's trying to gather it up. And oh boy, who got through in this? And oh, now caution is going to come out. And I wonder if that was an admin thrown one or if... I don't know what that was. Boy, that was just a mess all around here. It looks like John Guerra had just about brought it to a halt. And no, that was not an admin caution. It doesn't appear. That was an iRacing caution, I think. Boy, again, that is one of the most odd incidents I've seen all season for these guys, at least since I've been picking up the broadcast here for the playoffs. Either way, this will now send us into our first overtime attempt, as we did not quite make it back to the white flag. All right, so let's go back and look at it here and how it all starts. Again, the caution came out way after the actual incident happened, but I'm more curious as to how the incident itself actually happened here. I thought these guys had been running pretty clean, especially at the front, but I think it's going to be a case of just a little bit too much pushing and shoving here before we actually say anything here. Again, we want to get a better look at it, so we'll look at the chopper view first and watch Kevin Freese here trying to push Zach Workman. And as he goes to do so, he's trying to do it in a really, really sketchy area on the track to do it, right as that car unloads off the corner. And it looks like... That's so weird to me, because it looks like they get onto the straightaway clean. Kevin doesn't move much. Now, I will say he was slightly offset to the left. And then eventually here, that's going to catch the 19 and just hook him to the left. He gets down into Logan York, and boy, I thought they were going to save it here. And it looks like they did, but then that second little overcorrection from Workman is what turns him into Kevin Freese and collects both of them in the outside wall. And you see Adam Kilday to 215. They have to save it. You got drivers going through the grass. They're still up here trying not to wreck each other. I mean, everybody's scattering every which way here. The caution had not came out at this point, by the way. It finally comes out somewhere right around by the time they're in turn 1 and 2. And again, I was surprised to even see it take that long, but either way, these guys, pretty lucky break to indeed get that caution. As you saw John Guerra rolling slow there below the apron. Let's go back and look at that initial incident, which in turn did bring out the caution, even though it took a while. And for Zach Workman, who had been doing such a good job here, especially in late going, to get himself up front, unfortunately now, it may end his competitive chances of getting a win here tonight. And now watch the job that your Championship 4 drivers have to try to do here to miss this one. I was more concerned about the 85 of Kilday here. As they turn back up, Kilday tries to get on the brakes but can't quite miss it as he gets some front nose contact and damage to follow. But what we did see was Anthony English make up quite a few positions through that incident. Now he's up to 6th. For Vicente Guerrero, you wonder, was he able to do the same? He got himself up to 13th, but that was a big break for English. Unfortunately, a bit of a tough break for Adam Kilday. All right, give you one more look at this here before we go back live. Let's go to the drone cam for this, actually. Back this all the way up to where it started for Zach Workman again one more time. And there's really nothing you can do when they start wrecking like this, especially when it's at the front. And if you don't see a caution, the problem is the drivers out back, they can't check up, because if they don't see a caution, they check up. Well, you lose all your track position. I think that's part of the reason we didn't really see Anthony English do much lifting. He did do a little bit there to make sure he didn't run into guys, but then as soon as he got clear of the wreck, I mean, he was back on the loud pedal and digging for any track position he could get. Look at that evasive maneuver he had to make as he ducked below the inside of Kenny Reel, and then so they all check up, figure it out, but still brings out the caution nonetheless. All right, so as we go back up front now, Logan York being scored as your leader. Jeff Crosby Jr. in second. He'll now get the advantage by being put as the leader on the outside lane, depending on which lane Logan York goes with here. And you've got Adam Kilday. He'll be third lead pusher on the inside. Shane Ward back and fourth. Good run for him so far here tonight. He's up 15 spots from where he started this race at. And then it's the 8 of Michael Pratt. He'll be starting back from 5th. Anthony English in 6th. So English will be on that third lane. Watch for him to be looking for a run out back to potentially try to jump up. See if he can steal one here at the end. I talked about Vicente Guerrero trying to make that comeback, but it looks like it might be Anthony English here if he can complete the job. And boy, for Adam Kilday, this is such a tough spot for the 85 because look at the damage he's got on the front nose. I mean, that's really significant damage, especially to be fast out in front. Now, he might be okay in the draft, but again, if you want to win the championship, knowing that you've got one of the drivers you're trying to get it from up here on the front row with a clean car, I just don't know if the situation's necessarily favoring Kilday right now. But he felt like he had to stay out here, felt like it just wasn't worth trying to go in for that faster pair at this point. And so we'll have to see how it pans out for him here. As Logan York, we talked about trying to get one for himself here. We talked to him at the stage break, and he said he's out here just trying to get a win. Doesn't necessarily have any drivers specifically that he wants to push, but tell you what, if Jeff Crosby Jr. jumps down in front of him, and that outside, the opportunity to make a move there closes up, I think York's maybe the best guy to have behind you here. If you're trying to get pushed to a championship, the biggest thing to be careful of here is just deciding who you trust more. I mean, if you're Jeff Crosby, worst case scenario here is that somebody tries pushing in the turn and you get turned around. So you got to decide who do you feel like is the best man for the job. Like I said, York, he's aggressive. Sometimes that can hurt you, especially on the last lap. If talked about a bad push in the corner turns you around and ends your championship hopes. But at the same time, that same push that could get you turned around could also be the push that gets you to that championship win. Either way, however it plays out, it is going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. So again, this is our first attempt at overtime. We've got to make it to the white flag for this race to be official. So that means we've got to make it around at least one lap here. This 2.5-mile super speedway. I believe we have one more attempt at overtime if we can't get the job done right here. All right, the iRacing.com pace car going to make the left turn potentially for the final time this season. Here we go. 2-lap shootout, green, white, checkered, green flag back in the air for Logan York. 2 laps to go at Daytona. And it's a good restart for the 09, and caution is already out. Oh my goodness. And now it's kind of getting to that point in the race where I think guys are starting to make a couple of mental errors here, as we didn't even make it to the start-finish line before the caution came back out. And so we will rack them up and have to try it again here. So let's go back and see what happened here. It was, again, something that happened on the initial restart as Dave Hunt, and looks like that's the 48 of Andrew Schroeder. That's right around where the issue is going to start. And is it a stack up or is it something a little different here? Watch when they hit the restart zone. See, Logan York's going to fire. Does the outside just not fire as good? Well, actually, the 48 of Schroeder kind of runs into the back of Nathan Warren there. They seem okay. The bigger issue is going to come. Dave Hunt, watch Dave Hunt. Dave Hunt hits him in the rear here. No harm, no foul. But then Hunt kind of keeps peeking to the middle here. And then as the 48 tries to cover it back up, they just wad him up. And again, for the 53, you know, I'm not sure if at that point Dave Hunt was just trying to make sure he didn't hit anybody or was trying to slot back in line. I'm not sure, but either way, that's what starts the cluster up right here. And then once the 48 of Schroeder goes around, it just starts collecting a bunch of them here. 84 Len McNeese had nowhere to go. A lot of them ended up going through the grass, and it wasn't too bad, but like I don't think we have any cars that are going to have to use a fast pair, I should say, here tonight, but watch it again right there. 48 gets turned around and car gets up in the air briefly. Len McNeese took a pretty big hit from the 768 as well. You see the 00 with some rear end damage in the back as well. Give you another look at this here. How about from the starter cam? It's just, I mean, it's it's one of those things where it's the end of the race. Everybody's so antsy to get going, and just that brief little checkup between Schroeder and Warren stacks up a little further back to Dave Hunt, and then it's on from there. Not much more to it. But what it does do is send us into our second green-white checkered attempt, and that means we've only got one more try at it. And man, if you're these championship drivers, you probably don't feel too comfortable knowing that, especially, obviously, if you're Vicente Guerrero, you need it to go green just to have a chance to get back up there. But even if you're Adam Kilday and Anthony English, you're saying right here, come on, boys, let's race this out to the finish. I want to have a chance at it instead of doing that same thing and ending it as it stands. Jeff Crosby would be okay with that, as that would make him your season 13 champion. But Logan York still in position, leading this race. Again, Jeff Crosby Jr. second, Adam Kilday third, and it's Shane Ward in fourth with Anthony English in fifth. The 753 machine of Kenny Reel back in sixth. And I was looking back a little bit further. Actually, Kenny Reel in the 753 machine, excuse me. And you've got Nathan Warren back in seventh with Eric Laurie in eighth, Dave Hunt ninth, and Dana Shepard rounding out your top 10. All right, well, wasn't planning to initially, but since we took that extra caution, we're going to go ahead and head to what will be our final break here of the night. We'll be back in time for the restart. Stick with us to crown a champion here at Daytona.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by three. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
All right, welcome back to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway for the final attempt at a green-white checkered. The final race, the championship race for the OP ButtKicker Grand National Series. Here we go. Time to crown a winner and time to crown a champion. 2 laps to go at Daytona. Green flag is back in the air for Logan York. Can he hold on? And Jeff Crosby Jr., can he win a championship? Adam Kilday has damage, but he's going to get a bit of a better jump than the 33 here. Logan York is going to be the toe that 85 is going to need just to stay up front. The 44, Anthony English, still in the picture as well as now. Logan York works to the top. Jeff Crosby Jr. going to try to see if he can push this 09 clear. And sure enough, York's going to quickly now jump back down to the bottom, now back to the top. You got to be careful when you start making these moves. Big push from Jeff Crosby Jr. Almost gets the 09 turned around as they work down the super stretch. And if they make it to the white flag, this race will be official. Logan York continues to block up top. Zach Fritz went off track further back. I believe he was able to save it, though. And they're still 3 wide towards the back. Vicente Guerrero trying everything to make his way towards the front. Here they come off of turn 4. Can they make it to the white flag? Yes, they can. 1 lap to go to decide a champion. Who's going to get back here first? Logan York still out in front. Adam Kilday pushing for all he's worth. And Logan York will lead him off into turn 1. Now Jeff Crosby Jr. getting a little bit low. Anthony English, he's going to get loose. Almost goes round out back, tries to save it. They're going to pile him up big time out back. Up front, that narrows it down to just 2 now. Jeff Crosby Jr. versus Adam Kilday. Kilday the lead pusher. Jeff Crosby the leader now. And it looks like the 39 of Shane Ward is also going to get clear. They'll both jump down in front of Logan York. Does Shane Ward look for one more move here on the 33? Or does he push him all the way back to the finish? Final time off of turn 4. Jeff Crosby Jr. is going to do it. He is going to win the race. And he will be crowned your season 13 champion. How about that for a win? And what a way to grab the championship. Not only do you finish the highest of the other drivers, but you do it by winning the race. And Jeff Crosby Jr. is now a champion in the Wednesday night ButtKicker Grand National Series. What a season, what a run, and what a race here tonight to get the job done. He's going to bring it around to celebrate. That is going to be one happy driver right now as the fireworks go off for the final time this season. There'll be all celebrations, though, here for Jeff Crosby Jr., and I'm sure he's going to be pretty amped up in the broadcast interview, especially after that there. He almost got wrecked a few different times over the course of those last couple laps, but he was able to hold on when the time was right, got clear, jumped down, and Shane Ward stuck with him all the way back to the checkered. Jeff Crosby Jr. is your season champion. So he's going to bring it around here. He's going to burn it down through the grass. Burning it down on the Daytona logo. And as he does so, take a look at your finishing results here of the night. And again, your race winner and season champion is Jeff Crosby Jr. Shane Ward brings home 2nd. Logan York rounds out the podium. Adam Kilday finishes 2nd in the championship and 4th in the race. Kenny Reel 5th. Nathan Warren back in 6th. Vicente Guerrero, pretty good comeback himself. Unfortunately, not going to be quite enough. He finishes 3rd in the championship and 7th in the race. Kevin Freese in 8th. Anthony English, after that last lap incident, finishes 4th in the championship and 9th in the race. And it's Zach Fritsch rounding out your top 10. Andy Brigante finishes in 11th. Michael Pratt in 12th with Dave Hunt in 13th. And you've got Len McNeese back in 14th. Sean Dion in 15th. Alex Giffen 16th. Eric Laurie in 17th with Gabe Butler finishing back in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 here tonight is going to be Andrew Schroeder and Dana Shepard. Rick Sanchez finishes in 21st. Derek Dono 22nd with Nathan Aldrich in 23rd. Zach Workman 24th. John Garrett 25th. Bubba Winningham in 26th. Tucker McClendon 27th. And it's Les Levy rounding out the field tonight as he finishes in 28th. All right, we are going to go get your top 3, including your season champion, Jeff Crosby Jr. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Daytona. All right, we're going to kick things off here tonight. First, with your race winner and season champion, Jeff Crosby Jr. Let's get him up here. Hey, Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Well, first off, you did it. You get the job done. You are the season champion. How's it feel?
Oh, man, it feels great. It's definitely coming into a great week. I'm getting married Saturday, so this is the start of the weekend, and there's no words, man. This is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start it. And boy, take us through those last couple laps. I mean, how stressful was that, knowing that you had 3 other contenders in proximity of you and looked like you got out of shape a couple of times?
Yeah, man, just trying to keep it straight, and those guys were just racing really hard. I mean, you gotta race hard there at the end, and Adam was able to stay close to me, and I really thought he was going to be able to get a push there, and we just kept it straight, and we ended up just winning the race as well. It's freaking awesome.
Well, now that you're a champion, you're going to have some time, of course, during the offseason to go celebrate. But, I mean, you look back on the season and the road to get here, and was there any point that you really feel like was kind of the defining moment that got you to where you are now?
First race of the season, I was able to lock myself into the playoffs early on, and kind of just was able to stay consistent all year and just run hard and practice some runs and just put myself in situations where I don't like to be put in. But, I mean, it was good practice, and we're here.
Exactly. Consistency is key. You had that. And tonight, you get the job done not only in the race, but over the season as you are the season champion. So congrats on that. And Jeff, before we let you head out for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to you. Appreciate you for jumping on board on Wednesdays for broadcasting. I've heard a lot of good reviews from you. So hopefully we see you in the future. Definitely want to give a shout out to my teammates that ran with me tonight. They were able to stay with me and keep me up front and at the end there and give me some guidance. I want to give a shout out to my fiance. We get married Saturday, so should be a fun little weekend. And anybody else that's still watching, I appreciate you guys.
And thank you for talking to us, Jeff. Congrats on the win. Congrats on the championship, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
For sure, man. Thank you.
All right, and now that is going to bring us up to your second place finisher here of the night, Shane Ward in the 39. Shane, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, hey, you talked to me before you got eliminated from the playoffs and said you needed a bit of a change of luck tonight. I know it wasn't for a championship, but you had a great night. You bring home second. What was going through your head over that last lap? Were you ever thinking about making a move on the 33, or were you going to push him all the way home?
It was a championship to win. I was pushing him out the whole way. I even went on the intercoms just going into turn 3, told him get down in front of me because I was going to stick with him the rest of the way.
Well, doing that works out for him, but of course it brings home the second place finish for you as well. And I mean, man, you know, overall tonight we saw a race that was really more aggressive than the last few we've seen, knowing of course what was on the line for the championship drivers. And how were you able to kind of maneuver through this race and ultimately keep yourself in contention there at the end?
Since it's the last race of the season, I just wanted to try a few things, try being a little more aggressive than what I have been during the season, and see what results I can get out of it. And actually, the luck was on my side tonight, so yeah, got to lead a few laps. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and the results certainly showed up as well. Well, hey, before we let you head out to go celebrate a good finish, Shane, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
First of all, I just want to congratulate Jeff on the championship. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting it all season. I want to thank the OP, everybody that runs the league, because it's been a great group of guys, and I feel really welcome here. I want to thank my sponsors, Crest Fire Extinguishers, NOS Energy. I want to thank my wife, who's probably watching. I don't know if she is or not, but I think she is. And everybody else that has helped me along the way. I just want to give them all a shout out. Thank you guys.
And thank you for talking to us, Shane. Congrats on the second place finish. A great way to end the season. And hopefully we'll see you out here next season.
For sure, I'll be there.
All right, there you go. Now that'll bring us to the final of your 3 podium finishers here tonight. Well, if we can find him. Looking for Logan York here. Saw him just a minute ago. Not sure where he went. So we'll take another brief 10 to 20 seconds here to go see if we can find your third place finisher. So stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, and looks like we do have him in here now. Logan, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, Austin?
Well, you bring home a third place finish, and man, you were doing a lot of blocking there the last couple laps, but you can't quite fend him off. Was there anything you think you could have done different there?
Yeah, I just suck. I did not go in front of the 33. I didn't know Adam had no one in front of me. I just had no awareness at all. Logan York sucks.
All right, well, you heard it here first, quotes from Logan York. But, I mean, overall, as a season, you know, I've only had the chance to, of course, see in this series in the playoffs, but you come into the playoffs, you get a win, you almost get another win tonight. So knowing that you kind of have that momentum, what's kind of the mindset and the outlook that we can expect from you next season?
I'm hoping to do it next season if they let me. It depends on the admins, I guess. It's really fun to run here. There's not as many crashes as some other races I do. Wink, wink. It's just these guys are pretty awesome. It's a chill community, so it kind of allows me to be chill as well. It's just pretty cool. Just hope to win as many races as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, with the speed that you showed here tonight, especially at the end, I think we will see you quite a few times over the course of next season. So before we let you head out tonight for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank Adam for pushing me at the end. He didn't really have much of a choice, but he could have wrecked me. He didn't. I don't know who the leader of OP is, but just them for putting the race on. You for broadcasting. Everyone that watches the races and makes them possible. Everyone that competes and makes them possible. And yeah, that's it.
And Logan, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the third place finish here tonight, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Yep, see you, Austin.
All right, there you go. Logan York, third place finisher here tonight. But again, the man that we will be talking about, not just tonight, but for a while, is Jeff Crosby Jr., because he is your season champion. What a race it was. What a season it was. And what a playoff race it was to get to this point. Jeff Crosby Jr. comes out on top, and he will be going forward knowing that he is a ButtKicker Grand National Series champion. Well, I'll tell you what, I had a lot of fun broadcasting for these guys. It's a great series. And if you're interested in joining, again, we do put the links in the description of these videos, so you can check it out there. OP Racing, of course, has multiple series, not just the Wednesday one. Of course, if you work towards it, you can eventually get invited and up to the Monday night series, which is the main one. And they also have a few other series, including a throwback series, along with, I believe they have a Saturday series as well. So again, make sure you check all of those out. All right, well, as always, not just tonight, but the entire season that we had these guys with, at least the playoffs. I appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, I hope you enjoyed. That's it for me here tonight. Austin Green on PGR eSports. Until next time, have a good night.